Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Barter speaking, and a warm welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. There are some weeks like last week where just a ton of things end up happening, and there's weeks like this one where, yes, things did happen, but a lot of it is stuff that I've already seen, or is just to do with, general reviews or preparing a bunch of stuff. I guess one behind the scenes thing really is that because we're going to go off to our annual trip to Galicia in a bit. That's on the 1st, by the way. I've actually been trying to sort out whatever I need to sort out before going, which mainly involves the fact that I'm probably not going to take my my best equipment while I'm away. I will of course be taking my laptop and such, but I'll be going back to the headset microphone that I used to use all the time, just for the sake of the ease of travel. Also because I need to make sure I have space in my suitcase for a bunch of stuff, because I tend to go crazy at the bookstores in Spain. Oh my goodness, I wonder if they remember me from last year. But anyway, that's so what's been happening is, I did a lot of catch-up yesterday, actually, because for once, due to a set of circumstances, I actually was not in a driving lesson. Normally, those things end up happening pretty much every day, and then when I get back, I need to actually just de-stress. It's not like they're super stressful anymore, but just the fact that I'm concentrating on so many things and trying to get the hang of that, and then I need like a whole full detox, and then after that I have a little bit of time where I'm like, okay, here's time to do some editing and such, and then afterwards usually I'll get calls for a few things, mainly like dinner, bath, that kind of thing, and then after that is stream time, and then after that I do whichever one I didn't do previously, out of dinner or bath, and yeah, that's pretty much of the day. So it was actually kind of nice yesterday to because of I was supposed to have a lesson with the actual instructor, and he had to take his car to get serviced, so he wasn't able to do so. So it ended up being okay, because I was like, well, I'll use this day, and I actually got like a fair amount sorted. Particularly when it comes to the Maddie video, because that's the one where I'm like, okay, this brings down my entire mood already, so I'm not gonna, and I need to be in the right mindset to work on this. But yeah, yesterday actually, a lot of things I was able to get prepared that I hadn't done so before, because I had people reading out comments and such, but in both cases there was one full super long take, and that I didn't give them an order to record in, so they went with alphabetical order first, which is not the order that the screenshots were made from. So yeah, that was the whole thing. I should have said arranged by date, because that's what I actually have on computers, but then again, maybe someone use their phones, I'm not sure. I don't really know. I didn't ask in that case. But yeah, I actually got to the part where I needed to be, and I haven't sorted out through all of those bits yet, because sorting through lines always takes forever. But hey, it's a start. So, yeah. That's what that, and also I do remember I have there's actually some new things that I've been auditioning for, actually, that I happened to take care of yesterday, because I got contacted by one new person because they who was a fan of Gacha Review, surprisingly, and I guess and also really likes Midori Stories, and is preparing something a follow-up to one of Midori Stories' projects that we haven't got to yet. Like I said, with Midori Stories, we're going to get to the good stuff eventually. That's actually the reason that I picked This Is Reality to review, because I thought, well, I mean, I need to I said I was going to go through these in order. I thought it was time for Not Your Average Girl, but actually it wasn't yet. We've still got one mini movie, but it's a two-parter, so 2 videos to get through before that stage. Because yeah, it seems like This Is Reality did not do so well in reality. At least at the time, anyway. So yeah, that's why I chose that. It's like, okay, well, let's go through some more things. You know, there's renewed interest in my circles of meadery stories, so might as well. But yeah, it didn't end up going too well because yeah, that evolution that I've promised hasn't arrived as of yet. Oh well. That being said, because it was a brand new server, the person said they were likely not going to get all the people to join, and so and they're worried about the numbers, particularly to make up for the mini movie. And so I said it to a bunch of people, and some of them said, "Hey, I might have watched this before." So some people are aware of meadery stories outside of the Green Knight and Gacha review, which I am very relieved. But yeah, it's one of those delayed gratification promises, I'm afraid. But yeah, in that spirit, one thing that meadery stories did that kind of set him apart from, I guess the voice acted projects that would come, because meadery was one of the earliest to do so. You know, not the earliest, of course. That's pretty sure that's actually no, that's not Aphmau. It's somebody else even before that. But yeah, I've no way of finding those videos anymore, unfortunately. Actually, maybe if I scroll back through Jay's comments, actually, I might have to do that, just so I can say, like, hey, you know, this is where the voice actor community actually truly started. Now there's a Komexru style title if I've ever heard one. You know what? That one's going in here. Might work on that one while I'm away. Because yeah, probably what's going to happen is there's still a bunch of Pixelmon stuff that we recorded that I'm going to be able to release. Because yeah, with the luck that we've had on holiday, we don't get enough internet, most likely, to warrant being able to stream. So, or at least not frequently. I have a 5 years later episode that I know is up and coming, and that one I will absolutely 100% be streaming. But I'm going to limit my streams a little bit because of that. But that being said, I'll probably do pre-recorded premieres of stuff. Which means I also have to find a way to, the best way to record stuff without the use of Restream. Wonder if OBS will fail me again. You know what? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Not going to concern myself with that too early. But yeah, I will have to address that eventually. But yeah, basically stuff is going to change a little bit for most of June, I believe. So yeah, this is your forward announcement for that, I suppose. I'll also mention it when it's time, obviously. What was I saying also? Oh yeah, the thing that set meadery apart from other voice-acted series yet to come. I think the first one, I can't remember what it was called now. Something like Just My Luck or whatever. I showed it to that class that I taught in October, and I forgot what it's called. But yeah, that one actually had a bunch of different female VAs, well, for the female characters, I suppose, and but all of the male VAs were actually voiced by meadery himself, whether or not it was just putting on different voices or pitch modulating or whatever. And Winterfire is no exception. There were barely like any credits whatsoever in the Winterfire description. Winterfire being, of course, the project I was talking about before. I didn't know if I said that out loud. And that one is that. And yeah, once you watch it, you can tell that there's like different things that Midori is doing, which of course made it exceptionally easy to find ways to imitate the different characters. But the reason I bring that up is because like the creator was so concerned about getting the proper sound for each of the for each of the characters, and they were concerned they weren't going to be able to do that with whichever VAs showed up, and yet it turns out because Midori did most of those voices anyway. Technically speaking, it's actually more than reasonable to edit one person or a few people, and put that together. Winterfire, I think, only had one person who was maybe Haruna was not voiced by Midori. I had to check because that might have been just not more pitch editing. That was the only female character I think that had a speaking role in Winterfire, probably due to the reasons of casting. So that is ultimately an option. I'm sure that I hope that becomes apparent, because I submitted my audition for all the characters I could find in Winterfire itself for reference. Some of them had, pitch shifted voices. Some of them didn't. So yeah, some edited filter on the top of them. Hopefully that will come across. But I trust that particular person to edit those. But yeah, I wonder if that's going to be good, because ultimately, the one impression that I needed to nail for that audition was Midori. But we'll see, because like a bunch of people also joined that server and the server of Maya 2.0, who seems to have come up with a miraculous alternative universe, that is to say, not like watch this instead of miraculous. No, I mean an AU, a miraculous AU, and so far only like Marinette and Adrian are available. Which, I need to make sure it's clear that I didn't tell her about the headset microphone, so if there are other characters to audition for that I could do besides Adrian, then I'll have to let her know. Then again, I did also mention the issue with, in terms of gain that I can modulate, but again, I was in a rush, because I was also doing the Maddie video at the same time, and there were a couple of calls that I did. Actually, Maya 2.0 herself called me before going to work, and then also Adrian, our mutual friend from Spain, who you will remember as Pika Pika 13, but yeah, I did say his full name in a video once, but I wonder if he wants to say that now, because I don't like how people calling him that apart from like the childhood friends. Not the full name, I mean. Anyway, not entirely sure. So, but either way, yeah, we called because of course Adri is already in summer mode, and yeah, he very much wants to just reconnect with everyone, and ultimately that's more important than the other stuff that I've mentioned. So yeah, whenever there's a group call and such, I'm like, yeah, you know what, let's go here. The Maddie stuff can wait, and I'd already finished the other auditions, so yeah. And that was all yesterday, by the way. For the rest of the week, it was again most of the other stuff I mentioned, driving lessons, and that whole pattern and routine. But yeah, and, oh wait, actually, of course, Prism's birthday we had to mention from yesterday. Today's also a birthday, by the way, but it's one of my family members. I'm not going to say which one, but same deal as always. But yesterday was Prism's birthday, and I got a request to once again do my usual birthday present to people, which is tearing into their hard-worked content. People like it when I do that for some reason. So yeah, it's not the first time that's happened, but yeah, everyone always has a lot of fun with that idea. I think in the past I've done that to Emily. Also, Shorty by proxy, because we looked at like copycats instead of the actual show, because obviously reviewed all of Taming the Bad Boy before, except for episodes 1 and 2 of season 2, which I never actually did review those. Now that I think about it, you know, I wonder if Aiden archived those, because he actually tends to save quite a few things, and he actually did have that episode somewhere because he used it for my birthday video once in order to demonstrate my voice acting. I wonder if he actually has those still, because that's some good lost media right there. Just when you thought that Taming the Bad Boy reviews were complete. You know what? That'll be a good June project, because that stuff was all back in the pre-recorded era anyway. I wonder if we can get Shorty to actually show up for those too. You know what? Questions for later. We're still working on, you know, trying to devise stuff for the Butter Bunch, so that's ultimately going to come first. Okay, so, but yeah, as far as Prison's birthday goes, yeah, it was slightly unorthodox request, only because with the Guardians, I've most of the time reviewed the episodes in pairs, because season 2 of the Guardians, for those who haven't watched those videos, first of all, go watch them. Go watch the Guardians. That's an amazing show. But you know, for those who haven't seen season 2 of the Guardians, the basic structure is you know, after a full season of, you know, getting to know the actual Guardians and etc., and what they're up against, we have not only the next threat, but also where they came before. So half of the series are split into prequel episodes, and then the other half, so the even numbers, are all the continuation story. So, you know, what's coming next. And something I forgot to mention, now I think about it, is that originally the prequel episodes were sort of, you know, just the individuals, by which I mean, like, it was mainly focused on like one person. Now, because they're all like joining together in the prequel stuff, they're actually sort of they're sort of combining together. So so two characters in this case shared the limelight of the episode, and a few of the others, like Guardian-wise, they'd already actually met. So it seems now we're getting more towards like not just personal origin stories, although we still are, but it's personal origin stories and also how they all came to be. I wonder if that was deliberate. I'm going to have to ask Prism about that. Was that like a deliberate choice, or was that just because the structure of the season kind of dictates that every odd episode must be a backstory of some kind? Because if you think about it, it is entirely possible that some of the episodes, this episode is kind of well, it was actually about one of the characters' insecurities and the other one being unable to lead. But the background stuff, the part that like actually progresses the full story, as in just the character study, kind of involves sort of setting up towards where the beginning of season 1 kind of happened, where, you know, the group of Guardians that all kind of knew each other when season 1 happened and knew about their fate were detecting some of the other ones, and they all happened to be friends by, you know, pure happenstance. But, you know, whatever, season 1 stuff. So I mean, that stuff kind of already was somewhat covered in season 1 by, I guess, just subtext and background details. So technically speaking, it's not entirely necessary to go into those things, but it's good for the character study. So maybe that was the idea, that this part of the story, even though it's not necessarily to cover it, you know, it's still filling in some of those gaps because of the structure, but at the same time use that as an excuse to do character study. If that's the case, then I've got to give it even more praise, because that means that that Prism actually realized that the redundancy of some of the stuff that was covered, and then made up for it by actually offering the insights that we got, and not to mention a good healthy dose of drama. I suppose the other option is that it was all fully intentional. This was always the plan, and it just so happened that this stuff aligned. But yeah, I think it was kind of likely that, you know, the exact amount of episodes need to cover the continuing side of things on the even numbers would line up with the odd ones. Maybe that was the case. Maybe in either case, it seems like Prism has a lot more hidden genius than we actually gave credit for, or at the very least evolved and acquired genius. Because like I said in the video, the Guardians was, you know, is the perfect example of an evolved show, because it started off very rough around the edges, then took like a year hiatus and came back with stronger visuals, and it seemed to actually tie up a lot of stuff that was going on. Everything had kind of sort of been thought about, so it wasn't just like a visual upgrade, it was a story upgrade too. And that's ultimately, again, one of my favorite things to look for in a gacha series. And Midori stories, again, I want to demonstrate how much that's encapsulated, because when I went back and watched the Green Knight and Gacha review, I was like, wow, this is actually, I watched a little bit of Green Knight when I saw Not Average Girl back in the day. But yeah, it is a night and day contrast, and I kind of love that. When I go back and watch early musical episodes, there's definitely an element of cringe to those, and ultimately I was going to debate whether or not that's actually ultimately a good thing or a bad thing in for, you know, from a marketing perspective, to have a show that, you know, the first impression is still not as good, despite the fact of how old it might actually be, or whether or not people are more forgiving back in the olden days of gacha, and the ideal time to join the community has passed. I was going to ponder all those Midori stories and Prism of Voices, but I don't have to. That's kind of just what happened. So, but yeah, whenever I go back and watch my old stuff, yeah, there's elements of cringe, but also elements of pride, because, I mean, the remakes are proof of this, but if I went back now and redid all that stuff, it would look way better, and be put together way better. The story is almost identical, apart from the one deleted scene that I added back into the remake of episode 5. But yeah, just apart from that, yeah, that's kind of it. So, yeah, that's so. At least for me, that's the most satisfying part of seeing a lot of these shows. It's one thing you can only get from like independent creators as well, or most of the time, because, you know, studio produced stuff, you know, for mainstream media, has to deal with budget restraints and, you know, where to put the best animation for stuff and where not to, or whether or not you're even able to use your animator's talents to their entire extent. You know, the size of the team and all that stuff. But with independent creators, like, you know, it's one person's knowledge, understanding, and growth. That's one of the reasons that I love My Street so much. Is why it became my favorite show of all time. Because it's not just a great entertaining show with a fantastic fandom, you know, relatable and watchable characters, and just a general sense of fun behind it. But it's also something that, while made by a studio now, started off as just two people trying to do their best with NPCs and command blocks for the most part, and a few mods here and there, custom designed by one of them, and the writing craziness of the other. And that's something that's really inspirational there. It's like, that's why I like, you know, doing the things that I do now, because It ultimately comes down to, you know, me and the team. And there's something quite unique about that experience. And that's why gacha is so great. Because it provides that for everyone in a very easy way. Wherever Minecraft falls short, gacha comes out much more strongly. And vice versa, but, you know, to each their own. Now we have options, and gacha's free, so even better. But that's ultimately what something with limitless potential provides you. Something that I hope, you know, Toka can go into the future. It's what Pixton used to do back, well, not really. Pixton had a lot of limitations, but whatever. And yeah, that's what again, that's what I adore about these things. And you know, creators like Midori Stories, Prism of Voices, etc., you know, demonstrates the reason why I love gacha so much. And you know, that's why I'm like, yeah, please watch the stuff by them, the good and the not so good. But yeah, in any case, please leave a like or dislike because your opinion matters already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.